What's up, guys, and welcome back to the Stocks with Mike and Tom show. We have a lot to talk about in today's video. The S&P 500 broke all-time highs. Moderna stock pulled back quite a bit, and in today's video, we're just going to go over the most important news and the best stocks to watch right now. So make sure you stick around to the end of today's video, and if you are new here, don't forget to subscribe. But Tom, what's going on in the market?
Yeah, today the Senate actually passed the new infrastructure bill, and it moved the market up to all-time highs. I'm not sure if that was the exact news that brought it up or not, but in the end, the SPY's at all-time highs. We had a lot of stocks go up today, but like you said, Moderna started to go down, but it's awesome to see that this bill got passed through the Senate. It is going to be sent to the House, though, and CNBC does report that House progressives aren't expected to make big changes to the infrastructure bill, but they instead insist that the Senate pass a separate $3.5 trillion bill focused on poverty, healthcare, and climate change. So it seems like these bills are starting to really get some traction going through Congress right now, and it looks like the House will be voting on this in the next few weeks. So we'll definitely have to see how this ends up going and if they end up changing anything. But as of right now, there was a lot of talk about EVs and charging stations being in the bill along with cybersecurity. So looking at these types of stocks, we actually saw Tesla down today, but they did kind of go up in the middle of the day whenever the S&P 500 hit new highs. So maybe Tesla will get some newfound momentum here, because they have been very flat around the $700 level. But a lot of these other stocks like Blink and CHPT actually ended up doing pretty well today on this news.
Good stuff. So, Tom, I was really looking at CHPT, BLNK, and Plug. These three stocks really started to pop up over the past week or so, and I think that they can definitely run up a lot more. They're kind of interesting to trade because they go in these cycles where they just straight up explode, and then sometimes they're just consolidating. So either way, I think that they're at some pretty good levels right now, and they have some pretty decent momentum.
Yeah, especially for the longer term. And this type of sector is just set to explode over the next few years, especially with different, I shouldn't say countries, but states like California trying to put some restrictions in place to kind of make all the state vehicles electric and stuff like that. So whenever we start to see more legislation like that, it'll help these companies even more. And you guys all know that electric vehicles are really starting to pop off, and it'll definitely be a big thing in the future. So just looking at them for the next few years, I really like them. I think they're at good levels. Honestly, they could go either way with earnings, but I think that they will end up doing pretty well.
There we go. And then, Tom, what's going on with oil prices? I'm looking at these crude oil futures, and they're all over the place.
Yeah, they are. I mean, man, they've been up and down so drastically. We actually have U.S. inventories coming out tomorrow, but they did snap a week-long losing streak, according to investing.com, as market participants took COVID worries and their potential impact on demand off their minds ahead of the inventory data that's likely to show a weekly drawdown in stockpiles of crude, gasoline, and diesel. So they're looking like the stockpiles are going to come down a little bit. So in the end, that should make crude oil kind of pop up, kind of like what we're seeing today. So maybe look for more movement to the upside. Crude did honestly bounce off that 65 support pretty well just yesterday. So looking at it right now, I would say crude looks like it might have a good chance to keep going up, and it did close pretty strong. And we are seeing Exxon and Mobil and a few of these oil companies kind of holding their ground here around the $58 area on Exxon, but they have been popping up for the past year on their recovery, and I'm glad to see them holding their ground.
There we go. And then, Tom, I have to talk about UPST. I don't know if you saw this one in after hours, but it's starting to really pop up. I've been holding call debit spreads on this one for quite some time, and it's awesome to see it pop up like this. It's great to see, but I don't want to get too excited yet because earnings and just the market in general is so crazy. I've seen so many times where a stock explodes up in after hours, and then, you wake up the next morning and it's down. So either way, I'm really happy to see UPST stock up. It's really popping up. And I'm looking at their earnings, and it looks like they reported some pretty good numbers, which is awesome to see. Their sales were at $194 million, and they were only estimated to have $157 million in sales. So I'm going to look deeper into the earnings report a little bit later, but I'm just happy to see this pop.
Yeah, that's a really good move. They broke that 140 resistance and just exploded, Mike. And man, we were talking about this one a little bit before the video. I'm so glad to see it going up. And man, I'm really glad with those debit spreads because that's going to end up moving very, very well. And I love to see that break of 140. We were really coiling there for a few days. We hit it about 3 or 4 times before we finally went through on this nice catalyst. So nice to see the catalyst kind of pushing it up. And I'll be honest, even on the daily chart, Upstart was starting to look pretty strong. Like I said, coiling right at that resistance.
There we go. So let's get right into our member of the day and then the momentum plays. With today's member of the day, we have Kenrad. Thank you so much for all of your great comments on YouTube. You've been with us for a while, so you definitely deserve a shout out. Thank you so much for all of your awesome comments. Huge shout out, Kenrad. And then let's get right into the momentum plays for tomorrow. And with the first one, we have CHPT to the upside.
Yep, and with ChargePoint, go ahead and make them break the high today right around 26.25. And then if they break that in pre-market, make them break 26.50. There's going to be a couple levels though, like 26.25 is going to be more of a closer term level, and then 26.50 is going to be like a resistance to look for if we break the first one.
All right, with the next one, we have NCLH.
NCLH, Norwegian Cruise Lines. These cruise lines are starting to really pop off. They actually hit that $26 resistance today and went right down. So watch for that tomorrow. A nice break above 26 will make for a really good day trade.
All right. And with the last one, we have Boeing.
Yep. Boeing, this one to the upside. Also, I would say make them break above that high of a few days ago, right around 237.50.
Sounds good. So we are watching these 3 plays for potential day trades to the upside tomorrow, only if they break above the levels Tom listed. But Tom, I know it's a little bit off topic, but I want to just spend a little bit more time in the video talking about some of these cruise line stocks. They're popping up pretty well, and I know that they've been struggling a lot over the past couple months. I really like these plays right now. They're a little risky, but I just want to point them out. I think that, certain cruise lines like RCL, you could say NCLH, and CCL look pretty good. And, even some of these casino stocks like MAR, LVS, MGM, and Win look pretty decent in my opinion too. They've really been beaten down a lot, and they had some pretty good momentum today.
Yeah, I've heard some really good stuff about Vegas stocks, especially ones like LVS, Win. And like you said, I really like those other stocks for the longer term too. Honestly, like all these stocks, like the cruise lines, airlines, casino stocks, they're all kind of thrown into that like travel type of sector. And I think they'll all do pretty well for the longer term. And I'm glad to see them pulling back because we can start to get some really good opportunities go on. And especially whenever we're looking at stuff like RCL, CCL, and those types of plays, I think that they're really undervalued right now. Like CCL is really down, and keep in mind that this summer was really bad for them. They really weren't able to get any profits going. And I think maybe next year, or especially for over the next couple of years, I think that we'll start to see a big turnaround in these types of stocks, especially the cruise lines. But my favorite ones personally right now are like Win and those casino stocks. I think they could really start to get up.
There we go. So just one thing to keep in mind is, these cruise lines are definitely volatile and they're more risky than, a stock like Apple or Microsoft. But at the same time, they have higher potential for a reward if it does pop. But I think the best way to play these right now is like a short put. So like, let's say you went over to NCLH, right? You can sell a put that, let's say we look at September 17th. You can sell the 25 strike put and you can get paid around $140 for doing that. In my opinion, it's a win-win, but you have to like the stock for the long term. So definitely keep that in mind, but definitely keep an eye on those cruise line stocks. And let's get right into the unusual options activity for tomorrow. And we are looking at the Walmart 145 strike calls that expire on September 17th. There was around $3 million put into these. And I'm going to say that the smart money is longing these calls. Walmart has been consolidating for a couple months. It has a nice pre-earnings run-up, and the calls are in the money with time.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting that they got calls about a month away at like the 145 strike in the money. That shows us that they're probably longing those. I think that I'm going to go ahead and agree with you there. And it looks pretty good. It seems like there is a resistance around 150 with Walmart, but I'll be honest, it's hit that a lot in the past. And we're seeing the market break out to all-time highs. We're seeing stocks like Target just continue to run up every single day. So I would expect Walmart to get to all-time highs sometime soon.
Sounds great. So let's get right into the questions from the previous episode. And with the first question, we have Outlaw saying, Yo, Mike and Tom, happy Monday. Looks like AMD will hit $100 a share. So I've heard some great things about AMD fundamentally, but they were way overbought over the past couple weeks. And I can definitely see it hitting $100 a share. I really like them for the long term. They are a powerhouse. They're a great company, but I still think they have a little bit more room to fall. So I can definitely see 100, maybe not this week, but over the next month or so.
Yeah, there's already been like 4 or 5 red days in a row. So at some point now, we're going to have to start looking at it like at some point it's going to have to turn back around to the upside. But I would say $100 is going to be a really good support there. And I think if we do go down, I think that then we'll see a good bounce somewhere around 100. So definitely keep your eyes open because you might be able to get a really quick trade. And like, for example, if you're able to catch it within that 5 minutes of it, like hitting $100 or somewhere really close, and you're able to get some very quick calls, it could go very well.
All right, and then we have Kennerad saying, Hey, Mike and Tom, I got hammered in after hours with MILE. Could you take a look at the stock, maybe give some insight of when it'll be on the right track again? It's a good stock, just down a lot as of late. So, yeah, it did get hammered today. It's down like 22.5%, which is unfortunate to see. It's really been in a really brutal downtrend for the past year. Of course, no one knows exactly when it'll pop back up, but there is a pretty big support right around $5. I'm not sure if you have like leaps or shares or what you have, but you can always like buy put options to hedge yourself. So, for example, let's say you got into, I don't know, let's say you bought 100 shares right now and you're scared that it's going to keep falling. You can always just buy a put option to act as protection. At the end of the day, options were created to, hedge stocks. At the end of the day, options are just derivatives of stocks. So feel free to buy some puts to protect yourself, and you can also sell some covered calls. But, the main thing I'm looking for is that support at $5.
Yeah, that support's going to be pretty big there at 5. And just looking at Mile right now, I had a bad earning. So, it could always come back up over the next couple months. But, I really hate to see it moving like this to new lows. And it's just one of those like really rough situations where, it's like, do you keep holding it, or like, will it pop back up ever? It's a hard situation, but I would think that they might have a chance.
All right. And with the next comment, we have Bennett saying, I've been holding GNOG for a year since LCA. It's been a long time coming. I don't know if I'm selling, but it feels good to be up. So that's awesome to hear. So yeah, they are getting acquired by DraftKings. I think the deal is set to close in the first quarter of 2022. I'm a huge fan of DraftKings for the long term. I love that stock, love the company. So at the end of the day, if the deal does go through, your GNOG shares will become DraftKings shares. It's not on a one-for-one basis, but you'll get some DraftKings shares, which is awesome to hear. But it's great to hear that you're up, and there's nothing wrong with taking profits.
Yeah, and GNOG looks really strong right now. Like Mike said, there's no problem with taking profits. It actually hit right off of a resistance today. You can see in the past on March 16th, it ran right up to around 1920. And today it hit right around, let's see where it hit at the high. Yeah, like right around 1920 again. So just looking at that, it hit right off of that. So be really careful. It even hit off of that in pre-market a couple days ago. So it seems like there's a really big wall at that level. So if we start to see a bigger move to the downside, it might indicate that we might start to go back down off of that level, but definitely watch, because if we break above it, then we might get a big, we might get another huge push up through there. So just definitely have it on the radar.
All right, and then we have Jason saying, good stuff, guys. Any thoughts on gold or mining stocks? So I've really been looking at GLD. I really like it for the long term. It's not one of those plays that'll double your money or anything like that, but I've really been looking at, buying some either physical gold or like just GLD shares. I like it for like the next year or so. It's more of a long-term play, but it's definitely struggling in the short term. GLD has support right around 160 or so. So I think the best way to go right now is to maybe sell some puts on some gold ETFs, or, maybe just slowly average into shares. I'm not like a huge fan of it right now, but it's definitely on my radar.
Yeah, and one thing I want to point out is that gold futures actually hit right off of support, right around like 1675 on Sunday night. If we go ahead and look at the 5-day, 5-minute chart, you can see how drastic of a sell-off there was whenever futures opened on Sunday night, hit right off of that support, came right back up. So watch out for gold. We might get another move back up off of this support, but this sell-off the past few days has been pretty drastic. So really have it on the radar. If we fall through support, then I would really start to look at like selling some puts on GLD, maybe like with some strikes around like 150, 140, maybe something like that. But I have a pretty good feeling GLD might hold its support around like 157 or somewhere really close.
Sounds great. So guys, if you want to trade with Tom, myself, and the bots every single day, you can click that first link in the description down below. Daily option swing trades, day trades, and a bunch of different bots. We have a lot of custom bots as well. And Tom, let's take a look at UPST real quick one more time. So we originally got into UPST calls, what was it, on July 9th. We paid around $635 for them. We sold half around $1,130 or so. So it's looking really good. And if UPST stays above like 160 or so over the next week, the options that we bought for $635 will be worth around $3,000. So of course, not every play is like this, but I definitely want to highlight it because it was an awesome play, and the bot's been doing very well. We're always updating it, and we're always reinvesting back into the Discord. So if you want to try it out just for a month, you can cancel at any time. It's that first link in the description down below. Daily option swing trades, day trades, and a ton of custom bots. And you can talk with Tom and myself all day long. So definitely check it out. It's that first link in the description down below. But Tom, do you have any last minute stocks or anything you're watching for tomorrow?
I'm really going to have my eyes on the banking sector. The banks like JP Morgan really flew up today. It was a nice move to the upside. It actually bounced right off of $160. I like to see that. The banks have been having a pretty good past couple weeks, and I really like to see these moves, kind of like what we've been seeing. But watch out just in case this 160 resistance holds up. But I think if we just wait for it to break above 160 and then you get in, I think you could get a pretty good move tomorrow out of JP Morgan. And same with Bank of America and Wells Fargo. Bank of America is breaking out to the upside. And if we look at Wells Fargo on the daily chart, man, they're starting to really break above their highs from the past couple months. And they're actually just now getting back up to their pre-COVID levels.
There we go. So thank you guys so much for watching today's video. Don't forget, if you want to try out the bot, it's that first link in the description down below. You can cancel at any time. If you are new here, don't forget to subscribe. We post brand new videos every single day. Other than that, thanks for watching.